welcome to another episode of CrossTalk. My name is Kevin Tauchi, and I will be your host for this particular program. What is CrossTalk? Well, CrossTalk, we're doing it for a long time. I want to say 2007, 2008, the show, that's when we started first doing shows, and we'd use it as a vehicle to kind of tell folks some of the things that are going on in the community. Maybe there might have been a community issue, or just a place for folks to come and have conversations to better inform the two communities that we serve, Whitman and Hanson. Today, we're talking about community. Very proud to be able to have a conversation with a good friend and somebody who is a great community leader. He is the president of the Whitman and Hanson Dollars for Scholars. And sometimes if you visit Whitman Town Hall, you might see him there somewhere. But he's always out at different events supporting community. We're here to talk a little bit about the upcoming, you ready for this? Get your palettes ready. The 16th annual Taste of Whitman and Hanson. I bring you Mr. Michael Ganshirt.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
How are you? How have you been?
Good, thank you. So you started CrossTalk in 2007. We started the Taste of it in 2007. So we kind of dovetails. Yes.
Yeah. And I was there for the first several.
Yeah.
It's been a bit since. I may make a cameo this year. I may pop in, because the fun thing about the Taste is you're somebody I love eating out. My missus does, and I like exploring new eateries. Or it doesn't necessarily have to be an eatery. Maybe you have I know we got pinches and pounds, or pounds and pinches here. Yeah, pinches and pounds. They're going to be there. So if you got a sweet tooth, you can learn about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let's begin though. We're teasing the concept of what our conversation is, but for folks who don't know, what is the purpose of the Whitman and Hanson Dollars for Scholars?
So it started 1962. It was some community members from Whitman and Hanson, and the concept was that if every resident gave $1, that's where you got the Dollars for Scholars, and we pooled our resources together, we could help send some students to college that might otherwise not be able to afford it. It originally started in Fall River, Massachusetts, and we picked up in 1962, and we've had as many as 1,000 branches of Dollars for Scholars throughout the country. And I'd like to say Whitman and Hanson is one of the more successful ones.
Yeah, folks who watch in the springtime when the money thermometers appear in Whitman and Hanson, we get a glimpse as to the amount of money that you raise that will go out to the graduating class that spring. Yeah. Well,
as an example, there's another town, maybe 2 towns away, that has a successful Dollars for Scholars, but we dwarf them in terms of how much we're able to raise. So the tiny communities of Whitman and Hanson, last year we were able to raise $186,000 and award that. So it's remarkable how 2 small towns are able to raise that kind of money.
But that's fantastic, and knowing how costly it is for education, for higher education, and knowing that students can have at least these funds if they qualify is amazing.
It is. It's not going to pay for the college, but it's going to help them, at least the first year, be able to afford it.
So kind of give us a little bit of an overview about the Taste of Whitman and Hanson.
So the idea behind it was just to bring the restaurants together with the public. There's a lot of conversation that goes on when you go to the Taste of Whitman and Hanson. You walk around, you meet a lot of the different restaurant owners, a lot of the different bakery owners. You get to have good conversation with them and sample some of their food. And hopefully, if you like the food, you're going to go back to their restaurant and give them the business that they deserve.
Yeah, that's definitely the idea.
Yeah. And a lot of people, you tell them it's going to be bite-sized portions, and they say, "Oh, I'm never going to fill up on that." But if you go around to 20 different places over the course of half an hour, you fill up quite a bit.
and you're not turned away because you went to that table one time.
Yep.
If anything, they're kind of happy that you're coming back. You're willing to try maybe something else as
exactly,
well, right?
Yeah. So if you have a sweet tooth, you might hang out at the bakery tables.
That's definitely that's true. That's why I probably haven't gone in a couple of years. I'm trying to watch my figure, and I'm trying to, But it's been held at the same place at the VFW Post 697 on Essex Street. What is it about that space that is so accommodating, and you return there every year?
Well, I think it's a good location. Because we do have a lot of restaurants that are not strictly from Whitman and Hanson. It's kind of the area. So we do have some from Abington and East Bridgewater and Whitman and Hanson. So it's kind of very centrally located. The facility is the right size, and the parking is fairly good. You know, they've got a very large parking lot. So we fill it up, of course, but it accommodates a lot of people. So
16 years, a lot of years, even knowing that we had to endure a pandemic. How has this event evolved over the years? Has it changed, or has it just grown in size, basically?
I don't know that it's changed, or it did grow in size from the initial one.
Okay.
We had about 185 people, the very first one we had, and we thought that was fantastic. But since then, you get more and more and more. Yeah, so I think. We get a lot of the same people, regulars, that come back over and over again. And the people that are there for the first time, they always say, I don't know why I didn't go to this last year, or I don't know why I hadn't thought of this. So that's, yeah, so it has grown, but we do have some regulars as well.
It's interesting you say that, because early on, probably the first 15, 20 minutes, maybe there's not a lot of people. It's your best to get there early if you want to attend this event, because probably within a half an hour of the doors opening and then taking tickets, the place is pretty full.
Yeah, because you've got a couple hundred people and tables and vendors and volunteers, and it does fill up quite quickly.
And you have community leaders who show up. It's a who's who of people who will come in and not only try the food, but it's almost like the event of the year sometimes. Yeah.
Well, I like to think that it's one of my favorite. I like to think that I'm inviting all these people to my place, and I know practically all 250 people that go there. So it's kind of like a dinner that I'm throwing, you know. So I enjoy myself in that regard.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but in years past, not only is there the food to try, but there have been raffles as well.
Sure.
Is that still a staple of the taste?
Absolutely. It always adds to our revenue for that night. So the raffles usually are very well participating. People participate in the raffles very much so, and we appreciate that.
What are some of the things that we have seen over the years that are part of the raffle? And do you have any kind of early indication as to some of the items this year? Maybe you might be still collecting stuff.
Well, one of the difficulties of having as many vendors as we have is we don't have a lot of space. So we do not do a lot of gift baskets, large gift baskets that we do at our tree lighting event. We basically just do gift cards because we're restricted with the table that we have. So we primarily just do gift cards, and there's usually a few baskets. Mia Ragazzi usually does a gift basket. Ooh. We usually have our lottery scratch ticket gift card. We have a St. Patrick's Day one. So we have a few gift baskets, but primarily it's gift cards, primarily to food places.
And let's let folks know that this is not the only event that the Whitman and Hanson Dollars for Scholars has. Where does it rank, though, in the events that you use to raise funds? As
far as revenue goes, our top event is the tree lighting event that we have in the Whitman Park at holiday time.
That's fantastic.
And then our second most big draw is the car show that we have, the trick-or-treat Halloween-themed car show that we have in October at the high school, and then the Taste of Whitman and Hanson. At one time, the Taste of Whitman and Hanson was the top draw.
It was it.
But now we're competing with all kinds of other activities, which is a great thing.
But as the president of this organization, how does that make you feel, knowing that there are different events now that people are finding themselves going to, and maybe the one that was the staple, like the Taste, it's not in the top 5 or it's not in the top 3, but it's still something that's highly regarded.
Well, I like it in the fact that if you don't like one event, you can go to another event. If you're not a car enthusiast, maybe you eat a lot. If you don't eat a lot, maybe you're a Christmas person. So it works.
Let's talk about what attendees can expect in terms of either food or even variety.
Yeah. Well, when we first started doing it, I guess the sarcastic response to a Taste of Whitman and Hanson would be somebody would say, what are you just going to have pizza places there? And that's a concern. So the first thing we did was we tried to go out and converse with some of the full-service restaurants in town, and that's what we ended up doing the first year, and then from there we branched out. So the first year we had Meadowbrook, which was Bernardo's at the time, the Hitching Post, McGuigan's, Jamie's, Mia Ragazza. So we started with those 5, and then we worked our way out to some of the sub shops and some of the breakfast places and some of the bakeries, and we've had some caterers. So we've tried to branch out so that there's a little bit of a little different flavor for everybody's.
Interesting. You mentioned Meadowbrook still
Yeah.
with the taste, but you mentioned McGuigan's. We know that was sold.
They will not be there.
They will not be there. Neither will
In
be.
spirit, they'll be there. Yes.
The patio will not be there.
Yeah.
But you have added Millie's.
We have. The nice gentleman, he goes around town handing out menus and stuff. And I said, but here, there's somebody that would like a little bit of advertisement for his business. And so we invited him, and he was very happy to participate. I believe he's going to do some breakfast sandwiches and maybe cut them into bite-sized pieces or something of that effect. That was his concept, his idea.
And of course, we get to see Chris from Christo's to Go.
Yeah.
Which is
Gigi always does this. She's remarkable. Yes.
Yep. We also
And the good thing about Christo's is they have salad. So if you
Greek salad.
if you don't want to fill up on sweets or pasta, at least there's something healthy to have.
You mentioned pizza, Mike's House of Pizza
Yeah.
in Hanson. Cowbells. Who doesn't love Cowbells? Yeah. Fantastic place.
They sometimes do, they've had chicken salads, sometimes they do the soups, so they kind of mix it up a little bit as well.
And I think you had mentioned before the cameras went live that Trio Cafe is returning.
Oh, they are. They've done it every year. The only time they haven't done it is if they're away on vacation or if they have another commitment. But they will be back because they cater to the Whitman, they do catering for the Whitman and Hanson area. So happy to have Ilian back.
And it's also, again, not just Whitman and Hanson,
Yeah.
although that's a misnomer, but you have Johnny Macaroni's,
Yeah.
right? They have a couple of locations, I think, in the Bridgewaters.
They do, yeah.
You have...
This is the second year they've been here. And of course they bring their pasta, which is always nice.
Sarcastic Swine Barbecue,
Yeah.
which is amazing if anybody who's never had it. But then, again, you have other different, you got Regal Marketplace.
Yeah.
They have come such a long way from being where they were
Yeah.
to when they built their own bigger store.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And the thing about Regal Marketplace, they always ask if they can have an extra little table to the side because they have so much food. So they don't have 1 or 2 things. Last year they had 5 trays of stuff. So you're at that one table, you're able to sample quite a few things. As well as sometimes they bring Montilio's desserts with them sometimes.
And just an honorable mention for the VOTEC kids, South Shore Technical High School, the Brass Lantern.
Yeah.
If you haven't had a chance to, those kids love what they do.
Yeah, and they all dress up on their little chef hats, and
they do.
Yeah.
They're very much, they're all going to be executive chefs somewhere someday.
Exactly. Yeah.
So sample this stuff now while you can, while it's inexpensive, so to speak. When I say inexpensive, because of this fundraiser, it's
sure.
And talking about
it's
that,
only $15. I know this.
Where can
it's
you
hard
go?
to get breakfast or lunch for $15. Never mind dinner or anything like that. Yeah.
It's impossible, and that's not even including the tip.
Exactly.
Talk to me as far as what you think about local restaurants still supporting an event like this, still wanting to be a part of this.
Well, I have to tell you. So every year I say, "Oh, this is going to be a struggle." I know what the economic situation is in the town, in the community, in the country, and I say, "Oh, they're not going to want to see me again." And then this year, like for instance, everyone said yes, and the only people that had to turn me down was because somebody was going on vacation, and somebody else, they had a family event that they had been planning for a while. Yeah. And I was like, wow, I thought this was going to be a struggle. And I'm 3 weeks out, and sometimes I'm running around still trying to get a restaurant or 2, but we're basically booked. We have the 20 restaurants. Don't like to go much further than 20 because it gets very cramped in there, and 20 is usually enough to fill up a person's palate,
So it's worth noting that this event taking place again at the Whitman VFW Post 697 on Essex Street, 95 Essex Street, if you're punching that into your Google Maps or your Waze, whatever you may use, March 6th, 5:30 to 8 p.m. Get there early. This is the smart thing to do. Any other advice you want to give in regards to this?
As soon as you said VFW, I thought I would mention they do have a ramp in the back. I know that for some people it's up a flight of stairs.
ADA compliant.
And that can be challenging. And they used to have the chairlift in the back, but now they have the ramp that's in the back of the hall. So that's available for people if they're concerned about getting access into the building.
Let's talk about as far as tickets. Folks wanting to purchase tickets, they want to get their tickets early, they want to get them now.
The tickets go on sale Monday, so they're not too late. They haven't sold out or anything like that. They'll be on sale at Duval's Pharmacy in Whitman and Sandy's in Hanson. Then the 2 town clerk's offices in both communities. And they also can order them now on eventbrite.com, which is an online, which allows them to use their credit card if they so choose.
Yeah, and you've been doing Eventbrite for several years.
A number of years, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There is an extra convenience fee, but some people, that's what they want. They don't want to have to travel to someplace to get the tickets, or they want to pay with a credit card. This works out for them.
And just for folks at the time of our conversation, he mentions Monday, and some folks might get confused.
Oh, yes.
So we're talking February 17th, President's Day. That's when those tickets will become available. Where do things stand in regards to if there are any prospective, again, we're talking about events to raise funds for prospective college students. What is the process like for students who want to realize these funds, or they want to maybe be involved with the organization?
So we're here in February. Our application, it's always available online, but it goes live on February 1st.
Ooh.
And the students are able to fill out their application, save it, come back, save it, come back. And it just has to be completed and submitted to us by March 15th. So we're right smack dab in the middle of application time. We usually have great success. We usually have about 130, 140 applicants each year. Our awards committee after that will review the applications. They'll kind of score them, and that way they can rank them. And then at the end of at the beginning of May, after all our funds have been raised, we start awarding based upon the top students and work our way down. I will say, the last couple years, we feel as though we are the Whitman Dollars for Scholars and Hanson Dollars for Scholars, Whitman and Hanson Dollars for Scholars. We represent the community. So we try to give a scholarship to every student that applies that's qualified. So in the last couple of years, we've been successful doing that. We haven't had to turn anyone away. So our scholarships will be anywhere from $400 to $4,000.
Wow.
And yet, and like I said, we've had 100% rate probably the last couple of years in terms of awarding scholarships to applicants.
What kind of feeling is that, either for yourself personally or for the group, when it's almost like you finish the marathon, when you have the awards night and you're giving out those scholarships?
Yeah. That really is a favorite night of the year, because you can see the smiles on the faces. Some are a little embarrassed from saying the parents are all there. It's really a wonderful night, and it's everybody's very appreciative of what they get, even no matter the amount.
How often do you have students come back to you years later say, I really want to thank you and the organization for helping me kind of get started off on that first year with a couple $100 or a couple $1,000.
We hear that a lot. And this year I work in town hall, as you would say, in the town clerk's office.
Yes.
And I wasn't there one day, believe it or not. I took the day off. And the student that had just graduated from college came in and she gave us $500. And she said, hi, I just graduated and I thought I should give $250 to the food pantry and $250 to Dollars for Scholars. And I said, well, that's a wonderful thing. When I came in the next day. So I won't mention her name, but I thought that was very appreciative of her, showing that she should give back to the community that helped her.
And again, when do the events, again, we're here talking about the taste of Whitman and Hanson, an event that's coming up in just a couple of weeks. But I mean, when does the process start for your group? Well,
we start planning obviously in August. Nothing comes overnight. And we actually have fundraisers peppered throughout the calendar. So after the Taste of Whitman Hanson, we turn our attention to we have a bowling fundraiser at the Hanson AA 3 weeks later. And after that, we go to the Electronic Recycling Day. And after that, we have a Mother's Day raffle. So there is something every month, as well as, if you've ever been around town, you'll see the students holding those blue and yellow canisters collecting money at either supermarkets or elections.
I think volunteers are essential when it comes to organizations. How essential are volunteers for the Whitman and Hanson Dollars for Scholars? And if somebody wanted to get involved and help, how could they do that?
So we have two different volunteers. We have our student volunteers and our adult volunteers.
Okay.
Obviously, we need the adult volunteers because they tend to be the organizers. They tend to be the people that are in charge, supervising. So those, and we probably have 30 volunteers, and each monthly meeting we may have 15 to 20 that show up, but we have 30 good, solid volunteers. So then when I put out a message saying I need volunteers for the Taste of, within an hour I have all my slots filled up for the adults. For the students, if we didn't have any student volunteers, we would still raise money, we would still do well, but we wouldn't do as well, because the students are really the face of the organization. When you go and you're at the supermarket and you see the student canning, it makes quite a difference, because you can see that's the student that you're going to be helping. So you can see that the relationship there between the donor and the recipient. So and our student volunteers, I'm always amazed. We do get people saying, "Oh, I wish we had a student volunteer here or there," and we have about 150 student volunteers. So I can't complain, because we have as many student volunteers as we need.
So it's not one of those areas that you're deficient in.
No, but we always have room for more. And if they do want to sign up, they can go to our website, which you'll probably put on the screen at some point, which is www.whitmanandhanson.org. Excuse me, it's a mouthful. Or I'm at the high school usually every 2 weeks, and it'll be on the morning announcements to see me in the library at the close of school, and I'll sign them up and add them to our email list.
And how long have you been doing this? I mean, you're president now, but I'm sure there was a time when you became a volunteer.
Yeah, so I started my freshman year in high school, because that's when you should start volunteering, get those points in.
Yep.
So I did that for 4 years, and then after I graduated, I joined the adult staff, and I did that for maybe another, maybe 10 or 11 years. And then I rejoined Dollars for Scholars around 2003. So now I've been doing it for a little over 20 years, plus previously I'd been doing it for 10, 15 years. So 35, we'll say. How's that?
Okay.
When I do speak to the students, I tell them, I volunteered my freshman year. I don't expect you to be doing this 35 years later.
Yeah.
So.
But do you feel a sense of reward from all the years of doing this, and seeing all the monies that are raised and how they're given out?
It gives you a purpose, you know, to help other people, which is good.
Okay. We're going to digress back to, again, remind folks, the upcoming is the Taste of Whitman and Hanson, March 6th.
Yep.
5:30 to 8. What are you hoping attendees come away from this event feeling?
Just that they had a good time. As I said to you, I don't really get to eat the food, because I'm usually working the event.
You're all over the place.
Going table to table and doing that kind of stuff. But I have a great time, because I get to see, 200 or 300 people that are always out and about in the community, and I get to meet new people, and it's really a very good social event.
And again, remind them how they can get tickets for the Taste.
Tickets are located in 4 distinct locations in town: Duval's, Sandy's, the 2 clerks' offices in Whitman and Hanson, or they can go online at Eventbrite, and they'll see Whitman and Hanson, Taste of Whitman and Hanson there, and they can do it via credit card.
Anything that we haven't mentioned during our conversation here, but you feel is essential to the viewers at this moment?
No, just whatever support you can give us, that would be helpful. We will also be mailing out our annual appeal the beginning of March. The beginning of April, excuse me. We work on it in March. We mail it out the beginning of April.
Yeah.
Whatever donation they can, or whatever support they can give us, that would be great.
How well does that do when you send out an annual appeal to say, hey, we could use your support?
Remarkably well. You would think we have so many fundraisers throughout the year that people would be sick and tired of hearing from us, but they're not, because this is a lot of people donate in memory of somebody, or it's in the name of a business or in the name of a family. So it usually is something much more significant to them.
And folks still see a value in higher education
Absolutely.
these days, which is important.
Yeah, and you can see the person that you gave it to. There's a face that goes along with it at awards night.
Well, I want to thank you for your time.
No problem.
Appreciate your 35 years of hard work on behalf of the Whitman and Hanson Dollars.
So I am over 35 years old, just so you know.
We're not going to cut you in half and count your rings.
Okay.
But we thank you for any time that, over the years, that you be willing to sit in that chair and share this information with people. I hear from people all the time when we have guests in that they appreciate the conversations we provide here on WHCA.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for having us.
You got it. And we want to thank you for tuning into a program like CrossTalk and many others that we provide here for the Whitman and Hanson residents. If you have any ideas for conversations for any of our shows, info@WHCA.tv is the way, or maybe you might want to reach out to me directly for one of the shows that I host, Kevin at WHCA.tv. Until our next conversation, have a great day.